I was coming off of a really bad back strain about 4.5 years ago, and I was actually in the market, and someone behind me said, "Don't forget to pick up your milk carton." And I said, "Oh, I can't lift it, I hurt my back." And she said, "Well, what are you doing about it?" And she told me about Mike. And so I reached out to Mike, and I had been really in and out of PT for many years with kind of chronic back pain that, got worse, got better, but never really got better. Doing clamshells and, ice and stim, and I just never got any better. And then I met Mike, and he pretty much just changed my life. When I first started to work with Mike, because I was in pretty acute pain at that point, and I was afraid really to do anything. I didn't put my groceries from my carriage into my car. I always had someone help me, and I had to plan it if someone was home to take my groceries out of the car and into the house. And the first thing that Mike started to talk to me about was anti-fragility, and no one had ever really talked to me about that before. And he started really slowly, and we did a number of things, but right away started with strength training. And every time I would say to Mike, "Ooh, this hurts a little bit right here," and he would say, "That's okay, that's okay." He made me not be afraid of trying to do things, and not be afraid of a tweak here or there. And we did movements that I do in everyday life, so picking up my grandchildren, things like that I do now with so much ease. I don't even think about it anymore. I carry my own groceries now. And I tell people, they'll say, "Oh no, don't carry that, you're gonna hurt yourself." And I'm like, "No, I'm okay now." And so those were my biggest takeaways from Mike. Having worked with a handful of PTs that were all nice, but it was like traditional PT. And I've recommended Mike and his team to everybody who asks, because I always say it's like non-traditional PT, but they change your life. What used to be every day was a day when I was uncomfortable, and now it's the occasional day when I'm uncomfortable. And I do have some ups and downs, but I work through them. The thing about Mike is he's so positive, and I think that's part of the battle, is to feel like you can do it, no matter what your spine might look like on an MRI. So my takeaway now is that I'm not afraid to do things. I have goals. I can pick my grandchildren up, I can dance, I can bike ride, I do weights that I never did before, I didn't think I would do, and for the most part, I live a life where I'm not uncomfortable and I can be as active as I want. Because I've always been an active person. I did a lot of things feeling uncomfortable, and now I don't. So I'm very grateful. Sometimes when I'm doing an exercise with Mike and I say something hurts, he often says that's okay. So I never had anyone tell me before it was okay to feel pain. But I also just wanted to say that he's very thoughtful about making small changes in how you do an exercise, maybe your position or how you bend your leg, and that makes a big difference. So it's not just, he's just incredibly thoughtful and smart in how he looks at you and how you do your exercises and what works for your body. And anyone who tells me they have an ailment, I tell everybody about Mike and Divergence, and I say it's not what you're expecting, but they're the real deal and they should give it a try.